Royal family, we're in a situation right now. As African peoples, we are in a situation. Because it seems on every single level, royal family, we're surrounded. It seems as though on every single front, we're surrounded by thieves on the left, from the west, and thieves on the right, from the east. It is deeply frustrating every time you wake up and there's always a new enemy looking to exploit the motherland and her people. Whether it's African mineral resources, and I will keep speaking about Africa's resources because technology is advancing and we're the only ones who have the power to either allow it at our expense or stop it right there and then and advance ourselves and invest in ourselves. 400 years of neo-colonial exploitation, it has to come to an end. This generation royal family has to be the one that ends it. What is it that we're doing wrong that allows outsiders to believe they can keep coming to the motherland and do as they see fit? How come after everything we've been through, people still believe present-day African generations won't have an issue with European businesses, Australian businesses, Canadian businesses, American businesses, British businesses, all coming to Africa to exploit? Now you have Arab businesses, Asian businesses, Chinese. How come every time you look up, there's always a scandal about some country somewhere being caught stealing and smuggling resources out of Africa? Some Indian gentlemen were caught in a boat off the coast of Nigeria, stealing oil. And now the Chinese are out here, and have been out here, stealing fish. Because what? They overfish their own waters. They have nothing left. A diet that is majority fish. They destroyed their own fish stocks and are now on the coast of other people's countries and lands, disrupting our fishing capabilities, threatening famine and hunger on the rest of us. Because in the middle of the night, they come with their boats and they destroy everything. They literally scrape the bottom of the ocean. They literally scrape the bottom of the ocean. You get everything, leaving behind a destroyed ecosystem and no fish for the next generation. In the next season, people go hungry. They go fishing, they come up with empty nets. If you've been with me for a minute now, I appreciate you for joining my channel, keeping an eye on the motherland as we develop, as we advance, as we recognize our enemies, our allies, if we have any, which I'm beginning to doubt that we do, because we have the US Imperialistic Principles out there with the AFRICOM. We have Arabic Principles sending over their false investors, when in reality they're not investors at all, just neo-colonizers, a lot of them. We have businesses like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Elon Musks, and all of them coming to steal Africa's resources or to bribe the weakest among us to allow them to do as they see fit, all at the expense of African peoples. We've been covering these events for a minute now, and we will keep covering them, family, because knowledge is power, knowledge is clarity. Right now, as I've stated, on one hand we have Chinese boats stealing fish. On the other, we have Chinese corporations owning massive amounts of mineral mining sites, of locations where they're mining resources. Allow me to start with this one.
China continues to steal Africa's fish. It ranks on top of the global list of 152 countries practicing illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. China's industrial trawlers often plunder Africa's exclusive economic zones with ruthless efficiency. They leave behind a wasteland of depleted fish stocks and shattered dreams. Local fishermen, the true custodians of these waters, see their nets come up empty, their families hungry, their futures swallowed by the wake of China's insatiable fishing vessels. China's plunder bleeds into the very fabric of these nations, eroding food security, jeopardizing biodiversity and fueling corruption. Each plundered fish is a stolen school meal, a lost opportunity for development, a stolen future from generations yet to come. Our message to China is clear and resounding. Hands off our fish. Our message to African leaders is equally clear. Protect our waters. Protect our fish and biodiversity. Protect our blue economy livelihoods. Africa's waters are not an open buffet for plunder.
Not an open buffet for pillage and plunder. What do you think of that, real fam? Because it's always the same. And these stories go back generations. They go back many years. The China fishing fleet taking all of West Africa's fish. Empty nets. Chinese fishing threatens the livelihood of Sierra Leone's fishermen. Overfishing in Senegal. Chinese trawlers leave local fishermen with empty nets. On the front lines, illegal fishing. And not just in Africa as well. Large fleets of Chinese fishing encroaches on South American waters at Galapagos Islands. So everywhere you turn, it's the same thing. They destroy their own regions, and they come to Africa and they do as they see fit, leaving behind destroyed livelihoods. But next to fish, it's
time to talk about China's chokehold on the DRC. It's not just the USA and Israel and the colonizers that are taking advantage of the Congolese people. It's also China. China owns 15 out of 19 cobalt producing mines. They own it. And they have all the workers, they control them to extract cobalt from these mines. Can you believe this? The Congolese government and the people do not own these mines. China went in and somehow owned 15 of somebody else's mine in their own country. Can you believe this? The Congolese government has taken one of the Chinese owners to court, and the court ruling has given the DRC's government ownership of the mine for at least 6 months. And it's a start, but it needs to be like a permanent ownership, because the people of the DRC owns these mines. This is in their land, their country. And America, Israel, China has come and literally put their claws on these people's natural resources and their profits. Like, what is going on? There are also been reports that employees at the mine had complained about a drastic decline in worker safety under the Chinese ownership, including claims by safety inspectors that workers have been assaulted after raising concerns and being offered bribes to cover up accidents. Literally, the workers are not being treated good. The Chinese people are being so brutal and so vile to these people, to the Congolese people. And it's just, I'm honestly still shook that they have owned 15 mines. Do you know how much billions of dollars that is to mine cobalt if anybody owns those mines? And that's supposed to go to the Congolese government, to the people. And these Chinese, American, Israelis, everybody has a chokehold on Africa, and it honestly hurts me so much that this is our properties. These are our natural resources. And every other person is taking it away from us. And the fact that they're not even also treating the people with humanity, with decency. There has been all kinds of horror stories, and I'm going to cover more of that later, of how they are treating the Congolese workers. It's insane. It's time to talk.
And that brings the topic, fam. Everyone comes and everyone takes. Everyone has gotten into their heads that they can just come to Africa and do as they see fit. It is deeply frustrating. It is deeply aggravating. It is deeply annoying. The level of sheer and blatant disrespect, the nonsensical care in the world that they can just do whatever they want. What are we as Africans doing wrong? I adamantly insist that we as Africans must have a strict dialogue between ourselves as the youth and the heads of state whom we have entrusted to govern our nations. They want us to vote for them. Meanwhile, they don't hesitate to sign deals with these peoples while not conversing with the majority of the country about whether or not those deals are worth anything. Then we have to wake up to a world where China owns 15 mines. We covered in the previous video whereby the Ghanaians were up in arms because of an Australian company, Atlantic Lithium. As a government signed that deal, the people of Ghana rose up in arms, saying absolutely not. You can't come here and own resources while Africa is here to earn, while Africa is here to work for the people. It is deeply aggravating, royal family. And on top of that, I've previously shared a clip where a lady was having a conversation about something known as security of supply, where other countries are coming to Africa looking for security of supply. Check it.
So security of supply, one of the key themes at this year's Mining Indaba, and you are seeing it translate to increased activity in the mergers and acquisitions space this year. Tell us more about that.
Mergers and acquisition.
What we're seeing driving security of supply, specifically within the mergers and acquisitions space, is that you have smaller mining players on the continent with smaller projects coming together. So there's a consolidation play there. And the reason for that is that as a small mining player, you're less effective. So with the consolidation play comes economies of scale, the ability to consolidate licenses, and just more bargaining power. And we're seeing that with that, the consolidation of the smaller players, that's really playing into the security of supply. And we're also seeing, quite interestingly, and we've never really seen this previously, where the manufacturers down the value chain are starting to acquire actual mines.
There we go.
Just to cut out the middleman.
Which is us.
So that they can secure the supply of the raw materials.
And this is who we have being given jobs, not people who guarantee and have confirmed that they are for Black, for Africa, and the emancipation of the motherland and her people. But people who have demonstrated that they've been thoroughly educated in the neo-colonial education system. All they know how to do is to give outsiders everything that they want. This is who we've entrusted our economies to. People who don't see what's wrong with an American corporation, white-owned, British corporation, white-owned, European, Australian, Chinese, Arab, white-owned, Asian-owned, Caucasian-owned, coming to Africa and owning mines at the expense and detriment of African people, cutting out the middleman. Every single industry associated with mining, with processing, with manufacturing and retail of minerals to technology. Now we African people are running around like headless chickens trying to figure out how are we going to escape poverty. When outsiders just kept coming and allowing, they know how to pick them, royal family, make no mistake, outsiders know how to pick the weakest among us. Educated enough to do the job, but just dumb enough to not ask the right questions, let alone recognize when they're selling us off. This is what the sister in the other video was talking about when she says she's deeply aggravated and annoyed. Security of supply. Let's just go to Africa. The Africans won't have a problem with it. I fundamentally seek to boycott this mining and double situation. I'm planning to go to the next one in 2024, I hope. And I will make noise if possible. I'll go there with the microphone and just scream to the top of my lungs that, hey, you can't keep having these mining and doubles while Africans remain in poverty. It's crazy to me.
So we've seen that with a lot of businesses and companies in China acquiring mining assets on the continent to make sure that the security of supply again for their raw materials.
That's quite interesting. So do you think it's all about ramping up security of supply?
Lord have
or
mercy.
Do you think it's also individual transformation drives of respective countries that are trying to get a lot of smaller players a bigger share of the value chain, or perhaps even a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both. But really what we've seen is that with all the supply disruptions, I mean, a lot has...
This was like during the pandemic, I suspect. But yeah, family, what do you think? What do you think, royal family? If you're new to the channel, I appreciate you for joining. Smash that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and a share so other like-minded souls know that we're out here. What do you think of all of this, fam? Because we're in it now. New colonialism is in full-blown swing and activity. Conflicts around mineral resources, the next era of technological development are happening. They're gunning for our resources. They're gunning for our resources at maximum speed. And if we are not careful, family, we will be left out once again. So as African youths, I advise us to stand firm and stand fast. Support the likes of the Ibrahim Traore as we remove these puppet leaders. We need to qualify those of us who want to go into industry. Like I, as a black-owned business, part of my channel is to advocate African peoples to focus on each other and ourselves specifically. African peoples in the diaspora, descendants of enslaved Africans, to look to the motherland for business. I'm tired of seeing Caucasoids come in here and continuing the legacy of their ancestors, benefiting from the colonial systems left behind to perpetuate neocolonialism. If you're a black-owned business in America, in London, in Canada, look to the motherland. Compete with the Caucasoids who come here to exploit. No more. We need to rise and stand as one royal family. Let me know what you think of the video in the comments below. I'm your host, Ramodisa the High King. Stay royal, stay blessed, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.